On this episode, Director Joe happened. This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey and this is episode 130 of the Ask Jason Show. If you've been watching along, I almost cried when this was given to me because it was such a beautiful gift. And this morning, I asked Director Joe if he could get me a coffee, because we film here at Director Joe's house. And he said, yeah, of course, I'll go get your mug. And then I heard, crash, bang! And I was like, oh my God, are you okay? And he said, yeah, your mug's not. So then he took a picture of it, sitting broken on the floor, and he sent it to One-Eyed Kelly, and she was like, what did you do? What happened? And he said, I happened. That's what happened. I happened. So they have committed to replacing it, which is lovely. But the drama of the whole situation was like just kind of beautiful. So that's why we started the show like that. I still think that this mug is glorious. I think it's like there's something about like that old Ford F-150 that just won't break down. It is so reliable. I mean, it ain't got all that fancy newfangled electronic fuel injection. Nah, we got an old school carburetor. It works just fine. Ain't breaking down no bits, eh? No. All right, okay, let's talk about the actual episode here. I have taken a liking to finding bits of information and situations that the general public just agrees on kind of unanimously and deconstructing it, all of the same bits of data, all of the same ingredients, and then putting them back together in a different order so that you can see a perspective that you might not have seen before. I feel like we did that an episode or two ago with interest rates and how high interest rates can make a good time for buying, depending on, you know, what you're buying. Now, I want to talk about how the cooling of a market and a downward trend in pricing is a good time to sell. Bear with me, okay? Because that's an oversimplification. There are times when people who want to buy should buy, and there are times when people who want to sell should sell. They're different. But if you are in a position where you do have to sell, here is how to treat that with urgency and lead the market that's trending downward versus chasing it. Because you don't ever want to be chasing the market. And maybe I could define what that means. Let's say you are chasing the market and you want to buy something and prices are climbing. Like, let's go back like 6 months or something, okay? And things are selling for multiple offers and things are, oh, he hates it. He hates it. I'm waiting on a thing that could be really important.
I'll break your other mug.
Holy shit. You are so harsh. Wow. No love at all. But yet I put my phone away, didn't I? So let's say you're looking to buy something, everything's selling for multiple offers and they're all going over asking price. So when you look at how much something should be worth and you look at the ones that are comparable to it, they all sold for more. So now the bottom level that what used to be $300,000 house is worth is now closer to 325. And then now you're looking at things that used to be 300, now they're 325. Now you got to pay more for them to get them because things are trending upward and there's a supply issue. So there's so much demand. That's you chasing the market when you're purchasing. And when you're in that situation, you're scared of losing out on value, so you buy quickly. And you buy quickly and you get it out of the way and done because you don't want to be the one who waits too long till things peak and then buy at the top of the peak. You don't want to be that person. If this was the previous average, and at the end of that hot market, this is the new average. As long as you buy anywhere in here, you're okay. If you buy here, you chase the market, never caught it, and then you just got in at the end and If it starts to decline, you're the biggest loser in that declination. Good word? It's not exactly what it means, but I think it works. Anyway, yeah, so that's where you are. If you chase the market, that's what happens. But we've leveled off a little bit. Now, I'm not saying that our market is downward trending because there's no real data to suggest that. There's some data to suggest that we're leveling off a little bit, which is healthy, by the way. That is a good thing. It makes it better for buyers and for sellers, believe it or not, because there's reliable data. When you don't have reliable data, it's hard to interpret, which is what we do. We don't assign value to things. We interpret data to, demonstrate what the value likely is. When we don't have reliable data, it's a lot harder. And if there's conflicting points of evidence, there's potentially less reliability in the information that we give. Now, those situations are probably how you differentiate between somebody who sells houses and somebody who's really freaking great at what they do. And I would argue that myself and the Ask team of people that we're growing and training and learning together, I would argue that we're in the other category, but we do sell houses and make people happy too. That didn't almost make me cry. I don't know what happened in my voice there. Maybe there's little bits of porcelain or something in my coffee that from having been shattered. Not enough Baileys in this, Joe. And maybe next time also some rum. Help me get through this. So anyway, everybody just seems to know that when prices are rising, you get in fast. Buy fast when prices are rising so you don't get caught up and you don't find yourself in trouble. But if the market starts to cool and trends downward, people who need to sell are afraid to sell. And that doesn't make any sense. It makes zero sense. So we were talking about, say a house is worth 300 and you were chasing the market in a climbing market and you were buying. You didn't mind paying 310 for it because your expectation was that it was going up to 325, and if you waited, you might be the one who paid 325 for it. Because that happens. It really, really happens. But then you go to the other side of the market and you literally flip that over, and somebody is selling a house that was worth 400 at the top of the market, and now in order to get a deal, they might have to list it for 490 or 485 or something. Or sorry, 390 or 385. And they're afraid to sell it because it was 400 at one point. And they don't want to get caught chasing the market, not selling, ending up having to drop to 475 because they didn't sell fast enough to get into that good deal. It's the same thing. Buy faster when it goes up so you get in. Sell faster as it starts to go down so you clear out all of the loss. Now again, just to have it said, our stats right now don't suggest that we are currently declining in sale prices. It might happen, and if it does happen, I promise that I will say it right here. And I'll be like, if you have to sell, get off your ass and do it now. Because if we come down 8%, advertise 2% under, sell 3% under, save the other 5% and put it in your pocket. Because if you wait too long, you're gonna lose that too. So why is it that buyers are aggressive and smart enough to get in as a market is climbing? It's like buying stock. You see, what was the GameStop thing that happened or whatever? Everybody got in when GameStop was taken off, and they were like, yeah, I made so much money. And then as it was falling, see, we do this with stock. Sometimes when stock starts to fall, we're like, clear it out, get it out, get it out, get it out. And then it keeps going and keeps going. But people save some of their losses to keep away some of that loss. But with houses, we're just so romantic about it. No, prices are going down now, I'm gonna wait. I'm sorry, say that again. You need to sell your house, but you're gonna wait because prices are going down. Just need my calculator. So, I don't need a calculator for this. That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Do you know how much sense that makes? That makes about as much sense as giving somebody who almost died a beautiful gift and then smashing it in front of their eyes right after. That's how much sense that makes. But I hope you see what I'm saying here. Now, if you don't have to sell and the market is trending downwards, don't sell. Don't. Who cares? Don't sell. It's fine. Now, isn't that something? A realtor told you not to sell. We're here to help. That's the whole Ask Jason thing. It's the whole, like, the Ask team. That's the whole thing. You got questions. We are the answers. Just like, what are they? Just ask. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Okay, here's the same thing on the buying side. I really need to buy a house. It's urgent. Prices are they're skyrocketing. They're going up so fast. And I need something like now. I'm gonna wait until all of the prices peak before I buy. That's a good idea. That's where I'm at with this. Deconstructing this bit of information. If you need to sell now, and at the peak of the market throughout the summer, you had a $400,000 house. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. List it now for $390,000. List it now for $390,000. Let me sell it. We'll sell it fast. It'll be done. But guess what? That means now the new benchmark for the top value of a house like yours is $390,000. So do you want to be the first one to set the $390,000 benchmark? Or do you want to wait for somebody to set $395,000, $390,000, $385,000, $375,000, $370,000? Somebody else gets $380,000. Somebody else gets $375,000. And then everybody looks at all of those comps when they're looking to list their house, and all these houses that over the summer sold for $400,000, now all of the data says $380,000, and you waited and you didn't listen, and now all of your data says $380,000, and you were like, but it was $400,000. I told you, and you didn't listen. So I know I was a little bit aggressive at times during this episode. I've done a lot of work in my life and through my psychology degree, which is my formal education, by the way. Through a lot of therapy, been through some stuff. And I learned a lot about polyvagal theory, which you should Google it if you have some emotional regulation issues like me and like Joe. But my nervous system was a little dysregulated during this episode. And I don't exactly know why, but I'd like to apologize if I've offended anybody. And I wish that if anybody would ever offend me and my heart, that they would apologize. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgive you, buddy. That is it for this episode, and we'll see you on brighter days. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.
Should we take away the corpse of your old mug?
Do you want to take away the corpse of my old mug?
New mug.
You said it, not me. This is my old mug. The old mug. This is no corpse. There is no corpse to the old mug. You think the remains should we have a funeral procession? You know what we should do? I think, honestly, I should trumpet the last post. Do you know the last post? That's the trumpet sound that they play when they honor fallen soldiers. Now I just need to remember how the last post goes. I can't do this. No, I'm thinking we're getting into Star Wars now, aren't we? This is not what I wanted.